Hey, what's up, everybody? It is your friendly neighborhood BJJ podcaster, Rafa Sparza, coming to you. It is 1:08 Best Coast time here. I am very excited to bring you guys on today. We have a great guest. I'll get to him in a second, but before I do, let me go ahead and tell you just something real quick. Little initiative that we're doing. You normally have post-its, but today I have note cards. It's kind of my writer's arsenal of random assortments. But yes, on these, we are making a push every day to write down 3 persons, places, or things, preferably small businesses, that you can go ahead and support. And we are seeing some gyms starting to reopen, which means that is good. It does not mean we are out of the situation. So the best thing you could do is maybe, I don't know, if they've got a DVD or a product, buy those things, merch. If they've got privates that you can buy, go ahead and do that. And if you're not able to go ahead and use a facility, you can buy the privates in advance. And I know the people in our community will honor it. Meanwhile, if you are unable to do those things, we ask that maybe you volunteer your time to help out with your gym, because right now they're going to get a whole bunch of guidelines that they have to follow. And some of them are easy, some of them are hard. And I'm sure they could use any help. And there are a lot of very talented people in all of our gyms that sometimes we don't even know. I think I've been training with the guy for years. Didn't know he was an accountant. Would have been cool to know before. And if you can't do either of those things, we ask that you check in on your training partners, send them a message, see how they're doing, because we talk about mental health a lot, but it's very rare that we actually follow up on those things. Those are 3 very simple things that we ask you guys to do. If you can, it makes a world of difference to the people who sometimes don't even expect it and get something nice. Speaking of which, nice. What do I say about this guest? I have gone to train with him. I have been to his facility. I have covered an event that he put together for female grapplers back in the day. And the last time I saw him was about 2 weeks before the pandemic. And he asked me if I was willing to commentate an event at the end of April. It just seems like foolish and crazier times back then. And yes, I would have been happy to do it had the world not, done the things. So he is a guy who's been killing it out over in Irvine, the Riverside, Irvine area. I'm just glad that today we get to talk with him. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show, Jason Youseph. Jason, how are you doing, sir?
Hey, how you doing, Raph? I'm good, brother.
Not too bad. So I laugh about that because it was such a simpler time when you were like, hey man, we should do commentary. And I was like, sounds great.
By the way, Riverside and Irvine are like hours away from each other?
Yeah, I do know that. And the reason why I said Riverside and Irvine is because sometimes when you're hosting and you're in the region and you go, if I say this wrong, but if I say both, only one of them is wrong, as opposed to being completely wrong. Because anytime I go out to you, it is usually when I'm en route to going to UCI for covering Worlds or like PANs usually.
Sure.
And so my map usually just looks like just fucking go out there.
And Irvine and Riverside,
completely different.
I mean, it's like saying San Diego and LA.
But you know what though? If you introduce as many people as I do, you will get to a point where you will say something wrong and then the guest will hate you forever. So here, you're only going to hate me for 50% of the interview. And see, that's a big win in my place. So anyway, tell me a little bit about what's been going on with you. Obviously, there was a shutdown that kept everybody from training. When did you shut down?
So I got the official we're shutting down was the week before Pan Am's, and it was a very hard decision to make. And we were given the opportunity to shut down prior to being forced to shut down, and then we tried staying open, and then we had to throw in the towel and close with everybody else, unfortunately. And and it's been a struggle for not just myself, but for the entire community of jiu-jitsu. It's a very, very tough time for everybody. I think, some guy posted recently, he goes, how long you been training jiu-jitsu? He says brown and black belts, how long you been training jiu-jitsu, and what's been your toughest fight? And without commenting, my immediate thought was the toughest fight is right now. This is the toughest fight of all of our careers, because this is the hardest thing any one of us are going to have to go through. This is this is something that it doesn't matter what world championship you have, what ADCC you won. If you didn't treat your students well, if you don't have that community inside your school, if you didn't bond with that and make that family inside, you're going to see a lot of people leave, and they're just going to try and save their money versus save their school. And I think right now it's, well, especially for me, I saw a lot of adversity through this, and we're not out of it yet. We're not done, and I lost a lot of I'd lost over 70% of my student base, and it's still a struggle, but slowly, I'm starting to see one by one, once a week, I'm starting to see some of my old students come back now. And it's it makes me feel there's a light at the end of the tunnel. But on the other side, this thing is far from over. Just because it's back to returning and you're okay to go back to working, we all lost so much money in this that we're going to see who makes it out of this in the next 3 months. The next 3 months will tell, who really prepared for, this situation and how well we actually did, I think there's going to be a lot of schools that'll close in the next 3 months.
I would agree. And I think that was kind of the sensibility at the very, I wouldn't say the very beginning. I didn't know what to do. Like everybody else, my first week and a half of, quarantine was watching Netflix and saying, all right, let's see how long this goes. And then it became, okay, well, if we can't open, meaning I can't train, what happens to the gym owners? So then it became, all right, maybe we should try and make better use of our time. And I would say in your respect as a gym owner, to have 70% of your student base, you obviously aren't looking at them from the perspective of, hey, listen, I know times are hard. I expect you to be here. It's hard for everybody. It's just
Sure.
Now that we start to see it start to open, you hopefully get them back, and it is great that you're getting those signs in. But it's also something that you have to deal with.
Correct. Yeah, it's, right now I think the most difficult part is trying to get them to come back and feel comfortable and feel safe. I mean, I went out and pulled out all the bells and whistles. I mean, I went and bought COVID-19 tests. I bought face masks, face shields, like all kinds of stuff, right? Then I went and got a temperature gauge, and then I got, I mean, man, I have vinyl wood flooring through my whole place, and I've been bleaching my vinyl wood flooring, ruining my floor just so people feel better. And you're not supposed to bleach vinyl wood flooring. It kills the protection coat and prevents it from scratching. So, I'm I'm willing to sacrifice the floor for it. But, previously to all this, the one thing I can say, this may sound bad, but this is a good thing. This is a good thing. There's a lot of schools that absolutely should be this clean all the time. And now I feel like I've been I call it COVID-19 clean in the gym before COVID-19 was popular. And I personally was very OCD about cleanliness, and anybody that comes into my school, they know, I have very, very strict rules, and I don't break them for nobody. There's nobody in here. I don't care who you are, world champion, not, you're not going to come in here, no barefoot, bare chested. Like, I have very, very strict rules. I clean my mats before and after every class already. And, I use the best product you can get out there on the market. So I've always done that. That's always been my go-to. And we take extra steps to cleaning the gym as it is. And any one of my students can tell you, if you come to my school, even visit, you'll see me cleaning the bathrooms and the showers and the locker rooms at the end of class. And, that's the pride I already take. But I could tell you there's some schools out there, I'm kind of glad this happened because it made some of them clean up their acts,
I think the first thing that I was getting in interviews with people or discussions was when we said, well, what's the plan? Like, it's one thing for us to interview you. What's the plan for when you go back? Because I think it's a two-way street. I'm happy to give you my forum. I'm happy to do this, but like, what are you doing for your students? I think it's a fair question. Yeah. And we had people being like, man, we're so clean. We are this clean. And I'm like, like, I don't know how to tell people that cleaning shouldn't have been the toppest priority like before,
Yeah.
like, especially when it's just like, no, but now we're taking it seriously kind of a thing. And I'm like,
Yeah.
that's the worst response you could ever give to somebody. It's just like,
We're
I don't
actually
know.
going to clean our gym now for you guys. Dude, let me tell you this. I know a guy, I'll tell you the truth, and he's actually in the Irvine area. I know a guy that never cleaned, he cleaned his floor every day with a mop head that was never washed for months. It was the same mop head. He would just spray it down, go right across. The thing was like piss yellow. I was blown away. And one of my friends saw this, and I was like, and he could tell you, uh, and I won't out the guy,
Sure.
but I could tell you that when I saw that, I was just, I wanted to throw up. I will never go back to that school. And I asked him, I said, dude, you ever change out these mop heads? He goes, oh, no. We spray it and then it kills it. And just, I'm like, that's not how it works, dude. Like, I was literally like, I felt horrible for his students. But there's people out there, they think that, oh, we train every day, our bodies are strong. That doesn't mean anything. You're still going to pass around staph and Impetigo, MRSA, etc. Not including ringworm but no, man, cleaning was not the top of my priority. The top of my priority was making my students feel comfortable, bringing in extra measurements of making them feel safe when they came in, limiting classes. Like we offered, Sean Roberts actually gave me this idea to offer classes strictly to students, like a limit of 8 or 10 guys or girls that you only train with them in that class for that hour, and they're given a set amount of drills and techniques, and they do those things, but they can only train with those people on those days and times, which a lot of my students didn't want to do. I only had 2 students reply to that, and then I had other ideas. I pulled out all the stops on it, and I just couldn't find a way to make my students feel comfortable. Because at this point, I feel like even if the government turned around and said, "Ha, you've been pranked," people would still not want to come back. Yeah. So that's the hard part. But no, I definitely tried. I mean, I bought COVID-19 blood tests, like the ones you prick your finger, and you know what I mean. I did all that, and I had them here. Nobody wanted to do it. Nobody even wanted me to check their temperature. Like, I told them it wasn't a thermometer. It was, it wasn't going the other way. I had one student, he was okay with it. His name's Tony.
It's a difficult thing because on the one hand, there's almost like a split. It's don't care and care too much.
Correct.
And the hard part is finding that sweet spot of like, you should care and you should also not care at all. Like, there is an important amount, and as a gym owner, you are supposed to do your due diligence, and that's important. I think the hardest part for gym owners is, much like we all have to become 2 or 3 extra things in this pandemic, you also have to become somebody who has to buy these supplies, learn how to use them, buy all these things that are just additional costs and procedures to what you're already doing.
Yeah.
So that's something that we've been trying to be mindful of. But again, if they are starting to take back in, that is good. The other plus side is, because people aren't trading right now, they're going to need to get back in shape a little bit. So,
Absolutely. And I think you said it right, man. It's a sweet spot in the middle. I mean, there's not a lot of people that it's either they don't care or do care. I mean, if you try to find that middle, it's very hard. Because you can't please everybody, everybody. I mean, I make a post and, half the people are like, good job. The other half are like, I hate you, and so there's nobody that's going to just agree to disagree or just find the middle. But look, at the end, this is how I feel. Everybody kind of knew, I took my stance about a month and a half ago, almost 2 months ago, actually. And I took my stance and I opened my doors. Now, I did not receive not one hate message, not one negative message, not one person said, how dare you, you inconsiderate butthead, nothing. It was simply, thank you. I had people from Taiwan, Japan, North Carolina, South Carolina, Delaware, like, hey, can I buy a month membership? And I was like, can you come over and train for a month? But people were willing to support because they saw my message. They saw that, look, I'm hurting. Like my doors are going to close. I'm not an AOJ or a big school where I have 1,000+ students where, I put away $1 million. It's not like that. And a lot of school owners, a lot of them did not prepare for something. No one could have expected this. And I feel I had to take my stance and open my doors. But by doing so, I was able to draw a lot of the community together. And I saw the very next day after kind of my video went out there, a lot of people tried opening their doors the very next day as well. And they were just all saying, like, we just were waiting for somebody to actually do it. So, it just, happened to, I connected with a lot of people in that way. And then they went and opened their doors too. And I was happy. And the other thing too is I'm actually telling people, like, I went and took precautionary measures. Like, I went and spoke with my local police department. I spoke with a criminal defense attorney. I spoke with everybody that I needed to speak with to make sure all my I's are dotted and T's are crossed, so I don't get in trouble. I didn't make a wrong move. I didn't make a public fool of myself. And I was given a very, very shockingly different response that I thought was going to come. And I got nothing but supportive feedback from my local PD. I got supportive feedback from my attorney. I got, so many people telling me that, like, hey, do it, and, but right now I just feel like it's, we're still far from over from this thing. And, it's going to be a fight. It's still going to be a fight for a lot of us. And I feel like we need to all draw together and help the community, and not just, man, we're not Carlson Gracie. We're not Gracie Baja. We're not Checkmat Alliance, whatever. We are Maeda. We are Jiu-Jitsu. We are literally one right here. You know what I mean? And, we have to draw together at this point and figure out a way to support the community and our schools and if we're our neighboring schools, everyone, we need to figure out how to back each other up at this point.
Yeah, I very much appreciate that, because I like that Sean Roberts had an idea and you implemented it, because what's been important to me is what does everybody's support networks look like? Obviously, everybody has an affiliation, but I think a cross sharing of information in terms of, hey, here's what we're finding as success for our gyms. This is something that we're doing, is a vital aspect of how to return and how to return smart. Just because there are risks, and the risks are that I'm speaking of specifically here are for the businesses themselves. So Correct. Like, there's a lot that I think that is important. And then in terms of the rebuilding phase, I guess you could call it, is supportive networks between holding seminars and, trying to find creative ways to network with each other and almost kind of like continue fundraising to make up for some of those lost.
Man, Raph, you literally took, I don't know if you've been in my head and like have like a one of those little machines, and you've been like scanning my brain or something and like reading my thoughts. Literally, I've been talking with Sean Roberts and Chad George, and we've been discussing this actually. So Sean actually agreed to come and do a seminar at my school for free to give back to my students to help my school. And I couldn't be more thankful for a guy like Sean Roberts. He's a legend. To me, he's one of the top Americans out there as well. And I'm very grateful for somebody like Sean to come out here and do a seminar. And I also spoke with Chad George, and we said the same thing. And I said, hey, man, I'm willing to trade with you and do something where, I come to your school, you come to my school, we'll both teach a class, and then, we'll help engage the community to sticking together and showing that I'm driving all the way up to support your academy. You come down to support my academy. And that way we can show that just being together, we're going to be stronger here, And, but no, we've been literally talking about holding, a lot of my friends and I, we've been talking about doing seminars for each other, because I truly believe right now, I owe my students the world. There was a good handful of my students that made it through and was able to, stick it out with me. And, I owe them everything, and not just them, but I owe my current students that weren't able to make it. I owe them too, because I feel terrible. A lot of them lost their jobs, they're struggling as well. So I want to make it up to all my students, all of them. And, I couldn't ask them to pay for anything. They already did so much to help me get to this point. And it's already, I feel like if we were able to all work with each other, and it's like, if we go to one school or another school and we all show a lot of support, and, I feel like that's going to be really, really big for all of us, So man, you took that right out of my head.
Well, it's really important to me, because I think that that's the way we start to rebuild. Because from my perspective, when I didn't see a number of our gyms getting small business loans, it became very apparent that, okay, it's really going to be on us to take care of our. And if that's the case, we have to get creative about how we do it. We have to be diligent about how we do it. And it has to go from talk into action. So
100%.
for me, it's just been like, all right, what are you doing? How are you doing this? What are your plans? And to me, I think there was an inherent value of, start to do this now before you see some of these gyms evaporate before you.
Correct. Yeah. The loans, I think, are, they're going to be super helpful, obviously, but a lot of us didn't qualify. A lot of us didn't get anything in the first place. So all the PPE stuff, the only thing we all qualify for, no matter what, is the EIDL loan. And, but we have to pay it back. And, but my frustration has been, why do I have to pay something back that wasn't my fault? If I did something that jeopardizes my school's integrity, and I lost my students because I did something stupid, then that's on me. But I didn't ask for any of this. Nobody did. And I don't think we should have to be responsible for paying an interest, to take a loan to keep our schools afloat, because, that's what somebody made up in the back corner of the room of an official office. But, if the governor would have just said, hey, landlords, you're required to work with your tenants. Banks are required to work with the landlords. None of us would have needed a loan. Freeze all our rent. I would have froze my students' memberships. I don't feel like this is a time to make money. I feel like this is a time to join with the community, help each other, and stand with each other. That's it. Like, Raph, like I'm telling you, like, if I can help you, I'll help you. I will come to your house and help you build something if you need it. If you lost your job, and like, here's what I've been telling people. If you want to come to my school and train, and you were affected by COVID-19 and you don't have money, I will let you come and train, and I will not charge you. If you're able to stay and keep afloat, I'm only charging people right now. I used to charge $150 and $175 a month. I'm charging people $100 a month to month, no contract, stay as much as you want. And if you can afford that, fantastic. Love to have you in the meantime until your school reopens. If not, and you can't afford it, I'll let you come and train for free, because I feel like right now it's about giving back and helping others and making sure everything is affordable, everything is doing the right thing, And I just truly don't want to try to make money on this situation, like where people are selling masks for stupid amounts of money, and people are trying to like they're taking full advantage of the situation. And if I was able to, if my landlord froze my rent, I would have froze all my students' memberships. I wouldn't have, like my buddy froze his entire academy's memberships, and he was still paying the rent. And actually, he just moved academies and he was paying double rent, and literally almost bankrupted him. And I felt terrible, and it just shows that he had a lot of integrity, and he stood up and did the right thing. And, but he barely made it out by his teeth. And it's just, I felt bad, so.
Well, that's great. I think that's a good policy. And obviously, it's not the most ideal circumstances, but it's also one that I think in the long term, even if they don't stick around, is just, man, that's what they needed at this moment.
Yeah.
And like, it's so hard to turn a blind eye to what so many people need right now, just given how terrible situations and a lot of people are to each other at this moment. So it is a very, very nice thing of you to do. one thing that I wanted to ask you that I've been kind of asking everybody is, what do you wish that people would understand about the situation in terms specifically for jiu-jitsu gym owners?
In regards to,
Well, in regards to the adversity that you guys are facing, you mentioned it earlier,
yeah,
which is this is
okay,
not by any of your own volition. This is
correct.
not by you guys saying like, we just don't want to, so give us money and we don't want to do anything. This
Yeah,
is out of your hands, and yet it's something that you were stuck with.
you know, I hope that the students really, this is my true wish, is that not just my students, but all students, the kids, the adults, everyone. I hope they actually take a chance today and take a moment and put themselves in our shoes and understand that it's not just one person, that, we're not affected, just myself individually. We affect an entire group of people. Like, I have over 100 students, and, I get messages from them daily. And I think for me, I really hope that people will understand that I have a life, I have family that I help. Um, I want people to know that I give a lot to my students, and I want them to know that I'm struggling more every day. And this is the hardest thing, because a lot of us, this is half my life's work right now, and a lot of people put more of their half of their life into this, and they're sacrificing everything to just barely hold on. And we're struggling, yet a lot of us, myself and a lot of other instructors, we're calling and checking in on our students. You know what I mean? And some of my students check in on me, and and it's a blessing to see that. But I feel like I really want not my students, but just the students of the community. I want them to check in on their instructors, because I know they're having a hard time. I will speak on behalf of all the instructors and tell you that this is the hardest thing that we're all going through. And um, it's this is one thing that we all need to be able to hold each other accountable, and help each other. um, all the instructors, man, we're struggling paying rent, we're struggling paying the bills, we're struggling just keeping up. And every day I'm losing, 2, 3, 4, 5 students a day. And it's hard. It's really hard. I don't know what to do, and there's no right answer, and there's nobody to guide me. Nobody's calling me and saying, hey, this is what needs to be done, and this is what you do to get out of it. But knowing that my students text me or call me and just to check in, um, gave me all the support that I needed to stay strong. Seeing some people come from different schools gave me that strength inside of me to really fight back. And you know, I mean, man, I mean, any jiu-jitsu practitioner out there competing, we all know they're tough, but this is a fight that's completely different, and this will wear you down. This will I mean, this is driving people to another level, and but I really hope and pray that the students check in on their instructors. They try to understand that this is, if they do not even try to support in any way, not just paying, guys. It's not about paying. Just don't get it wrong. It's not about paying. It's it's showing the support to your instructors, because they give so much to you. I mean, man, I fly around the freaking United States for my students, and I don't ask anybody to pay for my flight or hotel or my rental car or nothing. But I fly around and coach them for free. And a lot of the instructors do that. And not only that, I consult with my students. I talk with them after class. I help them through their relationship problems. I'm more than just an instructor. I'm their personal friend. I'm their family member. And to me, I always tell people I'm the dad in my gym, so I'm always the one setting all the rules and being the don't get in trouble, guys. But we're more than just instructors to these people. We're family, and I feel like if you guys want a school to go back to, it's not about paying, but do anything you can to help. Whether it's getting in there and showing support, or going and talking and being there to be able to give them the confidence to get through this. Some of my students texted me one day. It was like 4 or 5 of them, just telling me they love me and they're thinking of me and they're really hoping that we get through this. That just gave me more motivation to fight more than I ever have. I mean, man, I mean, there's nobody I wouldn't fight, and but this is different, and it's been a major stress for a lot of us, and but I'm doing everything I can to make it out, and I'm willing to do anything to help anybody. If there's a school that just wants advice and they want to call, give me a call, send me a message. I will tell you everything I did, and I'm still not out of it yet. I'm still struggling, and but I'm just hoping that I can get through this in the next maybe like couple months. I can at least start just breaking even, and but yeah. Yeah. Oh, give me 1 second. I'm on sorry. But yeah, so yeah, man, I'm hoping we can get through this as a community and just, keep showing support for everyone, and everything we can do to help each other. That's all I care about. I don't care. It's not about me. It's not about you. It's about everyone. We all matter at this point.
Well, I appreciate you, taking the time here. I know you went through a plethora of a message. We've been ending these things just though by trying to ask people, how they can support you. I know that's a great message for the community, but we would love to know if there's if it's merch or if they could maybe help out with, some supplies. I mean, I know you get these things, but I would love for people to know the best way to help you and your gym. I'm going to minimize myself. I'm just going to put you full screen and just let the people know how they can support you.
Hey guys, I know right now it's a tough time for everybody, and I truly feel like sending money and all that stuff is always nice. Obviously, I think everybody wants money right now. But truthfully, I can honestly ask, if you've ever been to my academy, if you've ever met me in person, or if you've had the chance to, train with any of my students, the only thing I'm actually going to ask is please write a nice review on Yelp. That would tremendously help us a ton right now. Put a nice review on Facebook. It's a small thing, but it's a big thing at the same time, because truthfully, I don't want money for something that I didn't earn. And if you're just donating, I want to be able to earn it. And I don't want to take something for free, and yeah, if you come down here, obviously I got merchandise. I'd be happy to, give you guys a great deal on it. And, but if you guys can write a nice review, if you guys can give us 5 stars, I mean, I would love that more than anything. That will give me a ton of help. And I think that's it. It's free, it's simple. And, but it would really mean a lot to me and my team. And not just me, but write one for your school, write one for your instructors, write one for your friends. Go out and start doing that, because it's free, but it's extremely helpful. I promise that.
It's great stuff. Well, sir, I'm going to let you get on out in a second. I'm going to close up shop, though.
Yes, sir.
And then if you stick around for just a second, I'll talk to you off air. But
Yes,
I'm going to go and close this down. Again, my thanks to you. And here's what I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to when we do get everything a little bit more on the normal side, being able to return and do commentary with you, or at the very least, getting to do some training. Good sir.
100%. 100%. I'd love to have you come down here.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm making a list. One of the things I've been telling people is, obviously do this push every single day, but I'm making a list of the gyms I'm going to go to visit, the places I'm going, just in terms of our community here, because all of you guys are within driving distance. So to me, it's really important to put that support back into the community. That is something I think is going to be really important in the months to come. So
absolutely. Just don't forget that I'm in Irvine, not Riverside.
Hey, listen, I'm going to go where I'm going to go. I'm not going to tell you where I'm going to be. If I show up in Riverside, then I'm just going to blame Surrey. It's not going to be me. What's funny though is so let me see if I can backtrack this. Did I say Riverside or Irvine first when I said where your gym is?
You said Irvine, Riverside area.
Right. But which is correct?
No, it's not. There's no Riverside in Irvine.
No, I know. I'm asking you, where is your gym located?
Irvine.
Right. So I said Irvine first, right?
Yeah, but then you said the Irvine Riverside area.
Well, because I had to fucking put a safeguard in there. After I got there, I was like, I said it, and I go, wait, no,
Oh
it's
man.
Irvine. But in the case it's not Irvine,
It's like you live in the San Diego, Los Angeles area.
listen, I at least went from casting a net that was this small and getting it wrong,
like that big
giant net, and being like, it's in Los Angeles somewhere.
Yeah.
Could be wrong. It's somewhere in California. Boom.
You know what? We're in California. That's all you need to know.
That's all you need to say. I'll talk with you in just a second off air, man.
You got it, buddy.
But thank you very much. And to you guys, before we go and get on out of here, I'm just going to remind you, take out a Post-it note, write the names of 3 businesses, person, places, or things each day. Find a way that you can go and support your local businesses, and specifically jiu-jitsu ones, if you're asking me. The reason being, some of them aren't open. Some of them are going to open very soon and have very, very, very difficult guidelines that they need to get around. So we're going to inch our way through bit by bit, but it doesn't mean we're out of the situation yet. So find 3 persons, places, or things to donate, either money, buy a product, buy a private, do something to support your local instructors and fighters, because that is how they make their living. If you do not have financial means, find ways to leave a Yelp review. That's huge. That's a great help for any of those gyms that you have the opportunity to share a good word for, or to even volunteer to help some of your gyms implement those guidelines. And if you can't do either of those things, and I understand time is money and money is money, the least you can do is send a note to your training partners, check in on them, see how they're doing, all of that good stuff. I promise you, the smallest of little gestures here have the biggest of impacts to the people. You don't even know it sometimes. All right, before we get on out of here, tomorrow we are doing a UFC fight companion. You come back over here about 3:30-ish, 4, somewhere in there. It'll be a good time. We are going to have some beers, and we'll watch the event, and we'll make some jokes at some people's expenses. That's pretty much what we do. That's going to close us out for this week, but we will see you tomorrow, and then we'll return back to our regular #Save Jiu-Jitsu Gym series back early next week. That's all I got for you. My name is Rafa Esparza. You've been watching the Grappling Hour. It's a great day for grappling.